All right, everybody. A bit of a hot take on an old fan favorite right here. A little bit of a fun deck, in my opinion. Very competitive. 6-0 last time I got to run this. Uh, Amazing, fun, different. Give it a try, in my opinion. But let's get it started. We have right here 3 Spright Blue. We all know what Spright Blue does. All right, 3 Jet, 2 Red. My idea on Red. At 2 now, it's a bit of an update on my list that I was posting on the page, but 2 Red, I feel that monster effects were just a bit much. And I just need a little bit more to help take care of them and help ensure that the plays that we will be talking about later on did go off. Next card right here, of course, Spright Carrot for Spell and Trap Negation, and 1 Spright Pixies. This card is awesome. Just help clean up, take care of business, help get over those those walls that just, those tower monsters that just sit there. Okay, that's the sprite monsters themselves. Now the unofficial sprites, we have the 3 Nimble Beaver and 2 Nimble Angler. Nimble package, awesome. Angler has other utility with the other theme that I will be talking about in the build. The card is so amazing, so busted. Let's see here. Let's see if we only spells for Spright. We are with 3 Spright Starter, 1 Spright Smashers, just to help clean up, and the MVP, in my opinion, out of these cards, Spright Double Cross. Just taking your opponent's monster, whether on the field or in the grave, is just too busted, in my opinion. It's so good. It has won me so many games. Now, let's see. Now we get into the spiciness and just what I consider a great and completely underrated theme. After hearing my friend Kenneth just nonstop talk about how well this theme is just built, it's amazing and blends very, very well with Spright, and pretty much always ensures that you're gonna have a body or have a way to react to your opponent. Now, but let's get into this part. We have the 3 Paces. Paces effect is for cost, you banish to special summon a fish type monster from your hand. We run a maximum of 3. Non-stop, you just want to be able to get these to your hand as soon as possible for another monster that we will be speaking about. But these special summon out the fish from your hand, and all, or I shouldn't say all, but 2 of the level 2 tuners, the other would be getting into, they both have the ability that during the next standby phase, whether yourself or your opponent, they special summon themselves back and give themselves the ability to synchro summon during your opponent's turn. Just something that helps really, really, with the low attack power of the Spright. The next one we are going to go into is Shift, Fairy of the Ghoti. Shift, Fairy of the Ghoti. This monster, its ability is from the graveyard, you banish it for cost to increase a fish type monster's attack on the field. This pretty much helps set itself up for the next standby phase where it will also special summon itself back like Paces. Now, the next one we're going to talk about right here, which works in conjunction with the next monster after, is 3 of the Zep. I initially believed this card was only a one of. I will be honest. Um, but just the amazing utility this card puts up with the next card is just amazing. And I'll get into more detail about what they do together, but once we get to the next card. But this card's effect is, while in hand, you can banish a fish type monster from your graveyard to banish this card from your hand. Nothing really special. It really just helps set up these guys up here just to be able to banish them if you don't have anything, or any way to get them banished, to set them up for the special summon next turn. Its ability is a bit different than them, as they can only synchro summon during the main phase. This card right here, its ability is on special summon, whenever it's banished, it immediately synchro summons as soon as it hits the field. So a great way to interrupt your opponent during their turn. And it's only during your opponent's turn, unfortunately. Now, this card right here, in conjunction with the Spright Elf, it's so good because its effect is whenever it is special summoned. Now, it's not specific as to where. It can be from your grave, from your hand, from your banish zone, where as long as it's during your opponent's turn, you can immediately synchro summon with this. Now, the next cards we're going to get into are the ones that help facilitate the level 6 synchro summon, which we will show are the 2 Silent Angler. These help get that body to where you can either go into a Link 2 or a level 6 synchro. Great card, great card. Lifeless Leaf Fish. I did initially have this at 3, but I then swapped it out for the Silent Anglers. Just felt that the bodies of the Anglers was just a bit helped with the push a bit more. But this card will help send the Shift to set up for the instant one card 6 synchro during your opponent's turn, which then in turn sets up a whole just cascade, an avalanche of Ghoti cards. This card right here is your 1 card Ghoti starter. Now, the real MVP of the fish monsters, and the one we love, absolutely love, just love to combo with, the Zep, is going to be the Snopius, Shade of the Ghoti. Snopius is amazing. Its effect, and I will read, let's see if we can get it right here. During the main phase, quick effect, you can banish 2 fish type monsters from your hand and or graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 face-up card on the field. Banish it when that card leaves the field. If this card is banished itself, then you can banish 1 fish type monster in your graveyard to add this card right back to your hand. So, sorry about that. A ton of utility. This card is amazing when setting up your instant synchro 8s. Now, the thing about the Ghotis, unfortunately, is during your opponent's turn, they can only instantly synchro summon, or I shouldn't say instantly with the Zep, but during the main phase with the Paces and Shift. But they get you only fish type synchros. So we will get into that a bit more. But this card alone helps get rid of those towers also, if those towers ever leave the field for any occasion. Helps get rid of field cards. Just so much, it banishes so much things. Your opponent may not think much about the fact that their own card has to leave the field first for it to be banished, but this thing puts in so much work and sets up your instant Synchro 8 plays, as well as some of your Synchro 10 plays. This card is amazing. Definitely a 3 of. Honestly, the entire this entire Ghoti package, I feel, needs to be 3 max across the board. It's just so amazing. And what they do together to bring you your plays. We can get into a bit more of a combo video after the profile, possibly in another video. Now, the spells for the fish half, we are looking at the 2 Moray of Avarice. This card also helps get those cards to your hand whenever you need them, and sets up the special summoning play. So you're never really losing out whenever this banishes on the field, unfortunately, for cost to draw 2 cards. So amazing card is your Pot of Greed for the deck. Trust me, you do use this a lot more often than not, especially whenever your Gigantic is getting your level 2 fish onto the field. Amazing. And the only spell we run, but run triples of, that is triple Tactics Talents. This card, most people would like to run in the side, or even 2 of, but I feel 3, it's just necessary. So many hand traps, so many cards to just play during your turn. Triple Tactics Talents is the probably the GOAT spell in my opinion right now. And now that's it for the deck. We are at 40 cards, I believe. It's nice, straight 40. Big fish package, but all the sprites you need to just get everything started. Now to get into the extra deck. 1 second. All right. Okay, for the XCs, we have the 2 Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright, self-explanatory. This thing actually helps set up so much. It's probably the most important extra deck Spright monster, in my opinion. Second, I would say it's actually a battle between Elf and Sprint, but Gigantic Spright helps ensure that you're going to get your any fish type tuner onto your field as soon as possible, or even, of course, your red, blue, so on. Gigantic Spright, amazing at ensuring that you get the level 2 fish tuners that you need, especially setting up that the Pacey's plays. Pacey's actually is a very good combo. You can go Gigantic, detach, special summon out the Pacey's, use Pacey's to banish for cost, and special summon either any other fish type monster in your hand, even your level 6 Snopius. Great play. Well, Snopius play wouldn't be able to be done with it because Gigantic special summoning the level 2 and effective Spright, but you see where I'm going with that. Next, we are going to go with the amazing little Zeus package right here. Cavalry, of course, this card is amazing. Bouncing back monsters. Can't be destroyed by battle as long as there's material. Ninja Mosquito, this one is the real reason. And if you want to put out some effect damage, this card is amazing. And also can negate monster effects on attack declaration. So you're at least not waiting for battle. Just depending on the situation, if you need to burn some life points away, this card is amazing. When you're done with this card, if you feel you're ever put into that situation, there we go. The Bad Boy Zeus. This card is amazing in here, and after some thought, decided to be a nice late minute addition. So look forward to running that a bit more. For the links, we have, of course, 2 Spright Elf. Spright Elf, I feel 2 is perfect. Don't need 3. It's a bit overkill, and with how much you are trying to just make a bit of space for the added synchros, 2 is perfectly fine. It is a very minimal link package. Next one we are going to talk about is Spright Sprint. Sprint, great card. This sets up the chef in your graveyard or any other fish type tuner, fish type monster, anything you need, even especially your nimble angler. Very great card. This card just hands down can set up an entire board to get you even for your synchro plays. The next two we're going to talk about are the Nightmares, of course. Destroy a special summon monster, destroy back row, great cards, and the discard is never really bad because you can just send a fish that you need to banish in your grave for a Snopius just to set everything up and not really be at a disadvantage. Okay, now that was the deck profile itself. For the, as far as the extra deck monsters for the Spright, the normal extra deck monsters that you see. Now, for the deck profile part, that's just chef's kiss, and just some of the bigger monsters that you have access to. These big boys can help OTK and just even be a distraction for your Spright plays if you want to go that direction. But first off, the level 6 monster right here, Ariampus. Ariampus on summon actually is your setup for getting Snopius to your hand as soon as possible. This card right here, let's see if we can get it up here. If this card is synchro summoned, you can banish one level 6 or lower monster from your deck. So during your opponent's turn, if synchro summoning during your opponent's turn, you can instantly banish a Zep from your grave to go straight into a level 8 synchro, or you can always banish a Snopius to go ahead and get that Snopius right back to hand and start going into some crazier combos. Now, if this card is sent to graveyard as a synchro material, you can actually banish one fish from your grave to go ahead and set up those level 2 monsters to special summon during your opponent's turn, or even a Zep as well, just to be able to add a fish type monster with an equal or lower level from your deck to your hand. Each effect can only be used once per turn. Awesome card. In pure Ghoti, you definitely want to run this at 2 to 3, but in this deck, 1 of is great as your Snopius really acts as your true level 6. The next cards we're going to go into, and the reason why your 6s are so abundant, are going to be your level 8s. The first one we have is going to be Adamantium Pater, Arisen Dragite. This card right here is going to be for your spell trap card, negation. Awesome card. Really can only go into during your turn if you ever need it, but good card overall. Probably one of the most used, if not the most used, level 8, and that's going to be Ascan, the Bicorn Ghoti. On synchro summon, this card targets itself and one other card your opponent controls and banish both. It's great spot removal for whenever you need it, and this card can just keep bringing itself back as long as you have a fish type monster to banish for that, as its effect states that whenever this card is banished, you can banish one fish type monster from your grave to special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Now the next one we have, and the number 2, a synchro, and that is going to be the White Aura Well. This card on synchro summon destroys all face-up attack position monsters, and can also make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. It inflicts damage even on defense position monsters, and if this card is destroyed, whether by card or by battle, and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one other water type monster in your grave to special summon it back. So it has a bit of recurrence. Great card overall. And the big boy, which we go into quite often, and that will be the Deep Beyond. Ghoti of the Deep Beyond. Now, this card you definitely want to go into not as soon as possible, but great for that mid to late game push. Um, your opponent most likely will never really expect this, as both sides of each theme can really be a distraction for each other, just depending on which way you want to go. But on Synchro Summon, this card banishes all cards on the field, including itself, and gains attack power for each banished monster by times 500. So this card is great. Your new school Black Rose Dragon. This card also, when it is banished from the monster zone, whether the extra monster zone or the main monster zone, it does special summon itself back during the next standby phase, whether yourself or your opponent. This card is amazing and great for just clearing out the entire board. And that's all for the deck profile. I will be trying to set up the combos in another video very soon. With enough demand, I definitely will do that. It's going to take a bit of time as this deck is a bit new, still a bit fresh, but working on it every day in the lab here at home, and look forward to everybody's reaction to this. Hopefully y'all like it. Enjoy.